Tonight, more questions emerge on Cecilia Dapa's stashed $1 million scandal, with the Attorney General adducing fresh set of facts contradicting those presented by police prosecutors, including a claim that the reported $1 million found in the home of the former sanitation minister did not belong to her. Plus, main suspects in related theft case says she stole no money from the former sanitation minister's home. We're here from her lawyer.
You know, this matter, there are so many strings here and there, and we know it is one of those tactics employed to keep the people in cells. Please, I tell you, my client has not stolen any money from anywhere. Nobody has that kind of amount in her wardrobe.
This is Top Story with Evans Mensah.
And Top Story is always brought to you by Vodafone. There is fresh controversy tonight following the publication of the Attorney General's advice to the police on the Cecilia Dapa stashed $1 million scandal. The document, seen by Joy News and addressed to the Director General of the Police Criminal Investigations Department, reveal a raft of contradictions, with the facts first filed in court by police prosecutors, whereas the police's facts conclude that the $1 million allegedly stolen from the former sanitation minister's home belonged to her. The AG's document claims Cecilia Dapa had written a statement in which she was categorical that the money was not hers. Legal Affairs correspondent Joseph Akable joins me live now with details, and he's joining me via Zoom. And Joseph, there's a lot to go through and to break down for audiences, but let's start with what we know Cecilia Dapa had said. According to the AG's document, first we learn from the AG's document that Cecilia Dapa discovered the alleged theft on 10th August 2022, last year, after her husband had informed her on the 6th of October, that is 4 days prior. Now, she had been in Kumasi when the husband found the house help allegedly in the bedroom where the monies were kept. We are also told in the AG's advice that Cecilia Dapa only gave a police statement 9 months later, on the 4th of July 2023, this year, 9 months later. We will come to the question this 9 months gap raises. But first, what did she tell the police in this statement, according to the AG's document, which she gave the police on the 4th of July?
And so in terms of what she handed over to the police, in a statement on the 4th of July 2023, she stated that it took her a couple of days to arrange the things in the room and find out the items which had been stolen. So after going through her things, she found that a number of personal items, including those of her deceased brother, were missing. The personal items included a collection of jewelry she had kept for about 35 years, totaling $95,000, various types of kente cloth, GTP cloths with a total value of 56,000 cedis, dresses valued at about 20,000 cedis, various types of handbags totaling $35,500, and different types of perfumes valued at $1,400. She also found that they had lost a bag containing $200,000. This is very important. Another bag also containing 300,000 euros, an amount of 300,000 cedis contribution for her mother's funeral, and 50,000 cedis for the house, and a box containing about $800,000 belonging to a deceased brother, which was sent to her together with some regalia for safekeeping following the death of her brother. And so we see here that in terms of the amount that she's explaining who it belongs to, the reference is made to just the $800,000, which she says belongs to a deceased brother, which was sent to her together with some regalia for safekeeping. And it's important to note that Evans, she's making this statement after the matter that, according to what the AG found, had already been reported to the police as far back as October 2022. So we are told that on the 6th of October 2022, Daniel Osei-Kufuor, who had left his house at about 7:30 on a planned trip to Achimota, returned home unexpectedly after the trip had been cancelled. When he entered his house, he was alarmed by an unusual noise in the house from the direction of the bedroom of the couple. As he walked towards their bedroom, he noticed that the door to the bedroom was opened. He did not find anyone in the bedroom, but he noticed that the door to a storeroom in the bedroom was also opened. And so when he entered the storeroom, he saw the first accused hiding behind the door. The accused could not offer any explanation for her presence in the room, and with the assistance of his driver and the policeman on duty in the house, they arrested the first accused and sent her to the Tesano police station. Evans, it's important to take note of the Tesano police station. He later realized that 5 different men's suits valued at $500 each and 5 pieces of kente cloth valued at 15,000 cedis each had been stolen. And so it was at this point that Mr. Kufuor called the wife, Cecilia Dapa, who was in Kumasi, to inform her of the incident. Now, she returned to Accra on the 10th of October. And it's interesting to note that the statement that she gives the police is on the 4th of July 2023.
Yeah.
And so the question that you asked comes up that, okay, so why is this matter being reported, or why is the statement being offered in July?
And
get some answers from the
that is a very important gap that needs to be explained. So Cecilia Dapa discovers this on the 10th of October in 2022 last year. But as far as the records are concerned and this AG document is concerned, it's only 9 months later that then she gives a statement to the police, officially now announcing to the police and telling the police and reporting the matter, supposedly, that she's lost this amount of money. The key question then that raises is what happened between October 10th of 2022 and 4th July of 2023 when you discovered that this amount had gone. What happened in that particular period? It's a fundamental question that this also raises.
Yes, Evans. And I mean, this particular fact on the late report, or what's happening between the time period, like you're asking, is reflected in the police charge sheets that they filed in court as well. If you look at the police charge sheet that was sent to court, they make the point that sometime in June 2023, the complainants reported a theft of cash and some personal effects as indicated on the face of the charge sheet. And so then it goes on to recount facts that now says police investigation revealed that sometime in October 2022. So if you read the fact sheet also makes the point that the report was made in June 2023.
Yeah.
But their investigation showed that the theft took place in October of 2022.
And
so then it raises the question again.
Let's return to the money, because that has been the controversy. Again, if you read the police charge sheet, which had been amended 3 times, in all its incarnations, the police is emphatic that the $1 million belonged to Cecilia Dapa. Now, we've just recounted from the AG's advice in the document that we now have, what is written to the Director General of the CID, that in there, apparently, and from the AG's account, as is now being reported, that Cecilia Dapa gave a statement. Cecilia Dapa had written in the statement, apparently, on the 4th of July, that the money actually is not $1 million, but actually $800,000 in a box that belonged to her deceased brother, and $200,000 that was also found in the bag in the house. Now, Joseph, Cecilia Dapa's brother, one Henry Osei-Kwabena, also gave a statement on the same day, which is the 4th of July, to the police, according to the Attorney General's advice in the document that we're now reading. What did he say?
So Henry Osei-Kwabena, the brother of Cecilia Dapa, gave a statement on 4th July. He told the police that his younger brother, Nana Akwesi Esan II, the Numwa Hene to Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II, died in January 2022. So after his death, his office was opened, and a box containing $800,000 was retrieved from the office. His mother asked him to send the box of money to his sister Abna Dapa for safekeeping. According to him, his mother added some gold regalia belonging to his late brother to the money he brought the money and regalia to his sister in Accra for safekeeping. Now, this Osei Kwabena goes on to say that he was informed by his sister, the minister, in October 2022, that the money and regalia, together with a number of items, had been stolen from her home.
In other words, Henry Osei Kwabena, who is the brother, also on a false writes a statement to corroborate that, in fact, the 800,000 did not belong to her sister, but belonged to the brother who is deceased now, who is a chief, the Numwa Hene to Tumfo to the second. Now, that, Joseph, also raises a fundamental question about the $800,000 and the $200,000, because this is 4th of July when, according to the AG document, Cecilia Dapaah is telling the police that the money does not belong to her but belongs to the dead father. However, the police took that statement and subsequent to that put together a charge sheet and took it to court. Now, if you take the last revision of that charge sheet, which was amended on the 20th, and that, by the way, is 16 days later, they still went to court and placed before the court the fact that the money is actually $1 million and it belonged to Cecilia Dapaah, and repeated 3 times in that charge sheet. They amended
in fact, that part of the document reads that Patience Buttrey Sarah J. Within this jurisdiction of this court, did dishonestly appropriate the cash sum of $1 million, the property of Cecilia Abena Dapaah.
Yes, and it raised the question about the gap. So Cecilia Dapaah, now we're learning from the AG's document, actually told the police in a statement that the money doesn't belong to me. It's 800,000 and not $1 million. There's a 200,000 in a separate bag. And let's also state that again in this document, the AG's document says that the AG did not establish who owns the $200,000 and the 300,000 euros. But Cecilia Dapaah had said in this statement on the 4th of July that the money did not belong to her. Yet 16 days later, in the 3rd amendment to the police charge sheet, the police still told the court that the money belonged to Cecilia Dapaah. So didn't they have that written statement by Cecilia Dapaah, which we are told by the AG's document that he actually wrote on the 16th, on the 4th of July at a police station. And the police, obviously, from what we understand, used that as a basis to put together the charge sheet. So why didn't they reflect what Cecilia Dapaah had said? I mean, that is a question that arises, another contradiction, and screaming at you when you look at this. Now, another thing that we also picked up on is another contradiction. And Joseph, you've covered this extensively. In the original charge sheet and the facts that the police had put together, the suits that were stolen, allegedly belonging to Cecilia Dapaah's husband, how many did they state they were?
And so specifically, if you go to the number of the suits, so first, if you read the AG's document, if you go to the bottom part of it, it makes the point about when the husband had discovered, and he says that 5 men's suits valued at $500 each, and 5 pieces of kente cloth valued at 5 pieces of kente cloth valued at 15,000 cedis each had been stolen. And so that was after he discovered this step that he called the wife to inform the wife about this particular incident.
And as far as the suit is concerned, the AG's document then specifies the number. It says he later realized that 5 different men's suits valued at $500 had been allegedly stolen. But if you look at the police's charge sheet, they report of 6 suits at the cost of $3,000. So again, there's a contradiction there in terms of the pure facts on the face. But Joseph, there's another
the number as well as the amount. So if you read the AG's one, the value that is placed on the 5 suits is they placed at $500 and they placed the number at just 5. In this particular instance, they put the number at 6 of them, and they say that they are valued at $3,000.
And then we also learn what the AG did when they examined the docket. Now, the first paragraph on that page also makes for some interesting reading. It says, quote, "There is nothing in the docket on the complaint made by Daniel Osei Kufuor or any member of the household at the Tesana police station. So the Tesana police station, where we are told that this house help was first taken to after she was arrested by the police guard to Siladapa. The AG examines the docket and it says there's nothing to show that a complaint was made by the husband nor any member of the household. And Joseph, this raises a question. When the AG says, or any member of the household at the Tesano police station, does that include Cecilia Dapa? Because we know that on the 4th of July 2023, she made a statement. And the question then becomes, where did she write that statement? Is it also at Tesano or another station? Because the AG says there is nothing on the docket in the complaint made by Daniel Sekufor or any member of the house at Tesano police station. Neither is there any information on the arrest of the first accused by the Tesano police, nor any investigation conducted at that stage. But Joseph, you remember that you read in the AG's advice that the husband, Siladapa, had actually said that the officer in the house stationed to guard Siladapa effected an arrest.
In fact, that part says when he entered the storeroom, he saw the first accused hiding behind the door. The accused could not offer any explanation for her presence in the room. With the assistance of his driver and the policeman on duty in the house, they arrested the first accused and sent her to the Tesano police station. And so that report was done. But the AG says there's nothing on the complaint made by Daniel Sekufor or any member of the household at the Tesano police station. Neither is there any information on the arrest of the first accused by the Tesano police, nor any investigation conducted at that stage. And this is crucial because this purported arrest ought to have happened in October.
Exactly.
And we are asking the question that why is the matter being reported in June of 2023? So if there was no report or arrest in October, then it begs the question again, did the incident actually happen in October?
And then the second question, if indeed the police officer who guards Cecilia Dapa effected that arrest this will be on the 6th of October 2022 when the husband first discovered it, where did he take the accused person? Because AG says there's no evidence that she was taken to Tesano, because the husband had said when the arrest happened, the suspect was taken to the Tesano police, but there's no evidence on record for that. But
if you look at the fact sheet, it's interesting how the fact sheet that was taken by the police to court, how it goes around this particular issue. It makes it a bit more confusing as well. It does not address it directly. It says sometime in June 2023, the complainants reported a theft of cash and some personal effects indicated on the face of the charge sheet. Prior to that, A1, who was the house help of the complainants, was caught to have opened and entered the bedroom. It now goes on to say that A1 and A2 were arrested at their hideout in Tamale. So now, what the police is telling the court now is even a bit more confusing.
And let me add to that. Let me add to that from the AG's document. Again, a further contradiction, even more questions that poses. AG's document now tells us that on 27th June 2023, the first accused and the third accused were arrested in Tamale by the police upon a tip-off. Now, here's where this even becomes even more controversial and even more complicated, because we are told of the first arrest on the 6th of October 2022. Now, there's no record that where we're told the lady was taken, there's any record that she was taken there. That's a Tesano police station. But then to make it even more complicated, 8 months later is when there is a record of an arrest. And to make it worse, the arrest even didn't happen in Accra. It happened in Tamale by the police. So that it begs the question. When a husband first saw the woman in the room allegedly having stolen the money, and the police officer arrested her, again, what happened? Why is it that then there's now an 8-month gap between when the alleged crime was discovered and when the lady was arrested? And why is it that she wasn't arrested in Accra, but was arrested in Tamale 8 months later? And so did the crime really occur? And why didn't that happen at the time? So there's a lot of questions there to answer. And then finally, something that also comes up when you look at this. The AG is instructing that a few things happen. But one of the things, Joseph, that the AG never evaluate or direct the police on is to establish the gap between when the crime was allegedly committed and when the report was filed. That gap is not explained. Joseph.
Not at all. In fact, it's the obvious thing that anyone who reads what the AG has written and what the police filed in court, it's very sticking. I mean, it sticks right at you that a June report is made, an investigation is conducted, people are arraigned in July. But the facts that are recounted in both to the court and what the AG analyzes from the docket all points to the fact that the crimes took place in October. And so one cannot help but ask the question again that why was the report delayed and why is this not of concern, obviously, to the investigators who are probing this particular matter, Evans?
The AG, however, has directed the police to do a few things. One, to establish the true ownership of the amount of $800,000, the sources from which the established owner of the amount of $800,000 acquired that money, whether the accused actually stole the full amount of $800,000 from the house of the complainant. And another thing we must state in this document, there's no record of the $800,000 anywhere. Although Siledapa and her husband had claimed that that money was in the box and had been stolen, the AG says look into that. And also, they want the police investigators to also look into the true ownership of the amounts of $200,000 and $300,000 and 300,000 euros, and the sources of those as well. But I find this interesting, and that is, I guess, what we've been anticipating all along, that it's important for the police to establish the ownership of the sums, but also the advice is rendered above. And as far as the money laundering issues are concerned, they should expand the investigations, Joseph, to include the sources of the funds for Siledapa and others.
Yes, and the $800,000 source is crucial for the AG because the AG says from the figures that are alleged to have been stolen and what was retrieved, and in terms of the monies that were also taken and the properties that were identified, it appears more money has been stolen allegedly than what they've been able to identify and retrieve. And so that is why they are asking the crucial question about the need to establish whether the accused actually stole the $800,000, because she admitted to taking $200,000 and 200,000 cedis, but not the $800,000 which she is alleged to have stolen, even though the AG concludes by saying that what she had acquired obviously were in excess of the $200,000 that she had taken or admitted to taking from the room.
So tonight, the AG has directed the police to expand their money laundering investigations and other financial crimes to cover the complainants in the case, which will be Siledapa, and the brother, and also the husband. Samson Lada Yenini is a lawyer and colleague here. Also joining me is Mariada with the Ghana Integrity Initiative. Samson, you read this as well. You talked about this a fair bit. What's your reaction to all that we are learning tonight?
It is important that we don't even confuse the public with the legalese around what you are dealing with. I am so satisfied in the manner in which you and Akable have just distilled the facts and contrasted them as the matter is concerned. I'm sure that the jury is out there. The public will be able to put, these contrasting issues together and make a sense for themselves. The thing is that, you see, when something doesn't hold, and you try, particularly in a very desperate manner, to make it, stick, you actually end up making more mistakes and digging a gulf and not a hole for yourself. From what I'm seeing, the matters are becoming rather bizarre, unnecessarily convoluted, and I'll be very frank with you, to see a circumstance where a complainant is reported to have given their statement long after investigations have been completed is very disturbing. Okay? So what you're reading facts that shows that the complainants are making a complaint to the police long after the police are done with their investigations. How does that happen? It doesn't make any sense, not even legal sense. You see, now I find myself in a difficulty having to pronounce that these accused persons, if they are represented by lawyers, their lawyers will be on the floor, they'll be rolling and just having a laugh because their job is being done for them so easily. Okay? You can understand what the Attorney General's intervention was for. And when you read the advice, it comes to a point which is a very important issue in criminal law, that there was a need for the police to avoid duplicity in the charges. And this is very critical. Now, when you're putting in law, we say that if you a charge is not properly laid, you may have a situation when the trial of the accused, becomes improper and unsatisfactory, as we know in law. But more substantively, where it appears to a court that, a charge is defective, either in form or substance, previously, that would actually lead to the charge becoming what we used to call incurably bad. Now, that has been revised somewhat. So, Evans, first of all, the charge must give reasonable information as to the nature of the offense. It must be done in such a way that, as far as the particulars of offense are concerned, you are not talking about defects, because when they are defects, they also have a certain implication on the charge. Now, I find that they are trying to do a good job in avoiding what they call avoiding the duplicity. Because what the law says is that, for example, if you are talking about different sums of money that have been pilfered over different periods of time, the law's requirement on you is not to lump them up and accuse the person of having stolen the total amount. That is why, in fact, in criminal law, you could either have one charge sheet, okay, just one separate charge sheet for each offense. But we have developed to the point that you can put the different charges or counts in one charge sheet. But what you must avoid is what the Attorney General advises here, avoiding duplicity. Now, to the extent that it will be, the view will be taken that the duplicity is such that it brings confusion both to the court and to the lawyers and might lead to miscarriage of justice as far as the accused is concerned, then they would have done a job, and in the end, it will be course 90.
Yeah.
So I agree on that respect, where they find different occasions when monies have been stolen on different dates. You need to establish them and plead them, so to speak, differently. If you lump all of them together, you will say that there is you have fallen into the duplicity, and that makes the charge bad.
Something. So clearly, the AG wants to correct something here, and you've raised the issues about all the contradictions that we've also thrown up. I want to bring in Mary Ada in with the Ghana Integrity Initiative. They issued a statement earlier demanding that this matter is thoroughly looked into and let the chips fall where they may. Mary, on the back of everything else we're learning, and you had something was also raising his own questions, and he says it's incredible. Where do you stand now? We are a bit more. We are wiser now. I guess we're learning a bit more now from the AG's own document. Hello, Mariada. Okay, we may have lost her on the line there, but something. Let me stay with you very quickly. So now on the face of everything else that we've seen, with all those contradictions, somebody needs to reconcile the obvious gaps that it's on the face of it, very, very obvious. Who does that going forward? I mean, the special prosecutor is also in the wings looking into this matter. Who does this closing of these gaps?
Once again, I find myself in a difficulty trying to make some rational points or justifications for the people whose money, is lost and now has been stolen, and now they are in court. But when you have a charge sheet that was amended on the 5th of July, amended again on the 20th of July, and you are being told that the complainant, the primary complainant, is talking about money in a box, and they are telling you, remember when you read the advice says, her initial complaint.
Yes.
First of what? Correct?
Yeah, that's the 4th of July.
It's correct.
2023.
That is her initial complaint. You are telling us that by the 20th of July, when there was an amendment, by the 5th of July, when there was an amendment, she had not told the prosecutors, investigators, that this was money and it was in a certain box.
Yeah, I mean,
this is getting really bizarre and actually ending up making her case terribly, irredeemably, terribly bad.
Something stay with me. Mary Ada is back. Mary, where do you stand on this? I know GI issued a statement on this with the other anti-corruption agencies. On the back of everything else you've heard from something and the evidence from the AG's document, does that change your earlier position at all or strengthens it?
No, not at all. I believe it's rather entrenched our position that this is a matter that we must, as a people, all rally around each other to ensure that a thorough investigation is done, concluded, and the necessary action taken. We believe strongly that this is becoming bizarre, as something has said. A little confusing, but then you know what? The people of Ghana are up. We are awake widely, and we are thinking very much on some of these issues. And so when they come up, nobody should think that they can just try to make up issues, and then we will take them up hook, line, and sinker. And now, what the AG has done is to also make us know that the Honorable Minister didn't even have to make a complaint, but an investigation was conducted, if that is the case. For those of us who are not lawyers, we find this a very bizarre situation. And again, there is an attempt to make some incursions as to whether, suggestions as to whether it was 1 million only in the house or whether it wasn't much. We know one thing, and that one thing is what we picked from the beginning. And so we are of the belief, and we continue to hold that position, that nothing has changed. And it's also beginning to create some doubts in the minds of the people, particularly for us, that somebody is trying to do something to confuse the people. Unfortunately, it will not happen. So who do we believe? Do we believe the police? Do we believe the woman, or do we believe the AG who has written expansively and is asking for a thorough investigation? What we believe is the fact that the OSP has been given some powers to do some work. He is doing it. They can go ahead with their issues on theft and allow the people of Ghana the space to follow the proper the other investigation which the OSP is currently doing, to also establish beyond just money laundering, but to also look into the woman's sources of income and where she got all these reported stolen monies from. We also want to know if there is a bigger issue than what we have been told, because the speculation out there is that it's bigger than what we were told. And since the OSP or neither the police has come out to deny any of this, we are holding the expectation that whatever the OSP is doing, he would come out with some very significant findings. We believe, at least we have seen evidence from his side that he is doing this. Let the police come and contradict what the OSP is saying, because we do not understand how the professional police service would make such basic mistakes as to lump in all the sums of money which were stolen at a certain point. Particularly, they would also, or perhaps they would say that they did not know when the monies were taken, and so they have justification to do that. But that is not our business. Our business is that the police service is paid to do its work and to do it very professionally. And in this case, I believe something didn't go right. So if I go to report an instance like that, would I be allowed to go? An investigation is carried out. Then after the investigation, they call me to come and write my statement. Is that accepted for me? If that is the case for the ordinary citizen, then we would understand what is happening. If that is not the case, then I believe this is a no. It shouldn't be encouraged at all. It shouldn't be tolerated, but either by the profession itself or by civil society and the ordinary Ghanaian on the street.
Thank you very much, Ada. Thank you, Samson, for that. And we'll be taking you to court where the case itself, the theft case, came up today, and why the main suspect in the case is now declaring that she stole no money. Still ahead here on Newsnight, ahead of the August 26th Superdelegates Congress, President Akufo-Addo asserts forcefully he does not support any of the 10 aspirants seeking to lead the MPP in the 2024 general elections.
There's no one in the party. There is not a single person in the NPP who can say that I have asked him or her to support this or that aspirant. I've not done it, and I know why I haven't done it.
We have the latest for you. Also in Parliament today, there was chaos at the end of the debate on the mid-year budget review presented by the Ken Ofori-Atta as both sides go neck and neck at each other.
This is the worst form of an IMF program since Mansa Musa went on the famous pilgrimage. No woman from the minority side had the courage to speak.
We are live in Parliament shortly.
And in business, National Petroleum Authority rules out price fixing of petroleum products by the top oil marketing firms in the country.
And in sports, Ghana athletics team given major boost as Minister for Youth and Sports commit to ensure adequate preparation for the team ahead of the World Athletics Championship in Budapest.
Stay with us for the details after this.
Hey, you ever buy credits where you get up to 20% of your money back before? Make I tell you about Vodafone's demo promo. See, anytime you recharge a demo, you get up to 20%, whether it be short code or your Vodafone cash wallet, or you don't use credit transfer to your number or someone else. And now you be high tech, so you don't use my Vodafone app or any payment app. However you do, Vodafone go send you up to 20% cash back. Into your Vodafone cash account. We'll reload here, but then you enter. Top up your airtime with 5 Ghana cedi or more in Vodafone's demo promotion and receive 20% of your money back straight into your Vodafone cash wallet. Recharge and cash out in the Vodafone demo promotion.
Vodafone, further together.
I've got Bell back and I won't let My name is Nana McBrown. Many people think I get what I want anytime because I am popular. No, that is not true. It is because me and Kasano, I like the best, and when I find it, I stick to it. I have found Bell Pack Tea Roll, and I'm stuck with it. It is soft but not weak, strong but not hard. It is just perfect. Bell Pack Tea Roll is smooth and gentle on the skin. Same as Bell Pack Kitchen Towel. It cleans in one wipe. You can soak, squeeze, and clean again. One Bell Pack Kitchen Towel lasts longer and saves you money. It's time you switch to Bell Pack today and experience the perfect paper tissue. Say pocket tissue, table napkins, tea roll, and a kitchen towel. Bell Pack is simply the best. Bell Pack, just perfect.
To be a Bell Pack distributor, call 055-11-44400. Another quality product from Bell Aqua.
Nothing feels so good like Bell Pack.
You're still live here on News 90s on Joy 99.7 FM ahead of the August 26th Super Delegates Congress of the governing New Patriotic Party. President Akufo-Addo is tonight insisting he does not support any of the 10 aspirants seeking to lead the MPP. Now, at a meeting with communicators of the party at the Jubilee House, the president was emphatic he has no intention of imposing anyone, including the vice president, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, on the party.
Again, the assertions, and it was made your director by some in the party that government is somehow allegedly, quote, intimidating or, quote, coercing party faithful to throw their support behind one of the presidential aspirants. And we have to be open about it. The allegation is being made that the government is putting all its authority behind the vice president. I want to say in very clear terms to you and to the world, it is a false and malicious narrative. There's not a single truth to it. That's why I can beat my chest and I can say without any fear of contradiction, there's no one in the party, there is not a single person in the MPP who can say that I have asked him or her to support this or that aspirant. I've not done it, and I know why I haven't done it. I have not set out to dismiss any MMDC or any political appointee because they are supporting a particular aspirant. No minister, no deputy minister has been thrown out of his job or even been threatened because of their support for their preferred presidential aspirant. They're members of my cabinet who are openly campaigning for particular candidates. Who's not the vice president. It has not affected their presence in the cabinet. There's been no indication to them whatsoever that somehow or other I am disturbed by what they're doing. It's their right. They're party people. They can make whatever choice that they want, like all of you. You're entitled to make your own choices. I have my choice. I also have a vote. Yes. So, and nothing has come from here, no caveat has come from this Jubilee House to the party across the length and breadth of this party that candidate A rather than candidate B should be supported. There will be people who were my supporters who will make a choice. They're entitled to. The fact that many people, perhaps the majority, I don't know, of people who supported me now support another candidate doesn't mean that they're doing so at my behest. They're members of the party. They're entitled to make their own decision about who they want to support. Does that amount to intimidation or coercion? We should get away from that language. Our party is not that kind of a party. We know from the history of the MPP that a president cannot foist a candidate on this party against his wishes. We know this from what has happened before. We have never subscribed to a cult of personality in this MPP. That is not the principle on which we have organized ourselves. We've organized ourselves around ideas, not about personalities. Indeed, I remember very well our highly respected former president, the first MPP president, President John Ajay for His Excellency, in the aftermath of my election in 2007, when he came to address the Congress, spoke about the spirit of this party. I don't know whether any of you will remember the statement that he made about the spirit of the MPP, a spirit that cannot be ignored. That spirit continues to become there. Whoever is going to be the presidential candidate of the MPP is going to be chosen freely and transparently by 250,000 people in the Electoral College and not by President Akufo-Addo.
Let's bring in senior political science lecturer at the University of Ghana, Dr. Sassy. Also joining us right now is the Deputy General Secretary of the party, who also has a thought on this matter as the party prepares towards August 26th. Haruna Mohammed, thank you, gentlemen, for your time. Dr. Sassy, let me start with you. You heard the president. Does it put the matter to rest?
Hello, Ivan.
Yes.
I think the line is a bit faint. If you can speak up a little bit.
That's what you just heard from the president. Does it put the matter to rest?
It's heartwarming that the president has spoken this way, but we want to see more because some people believe that after this, then we expect him to walk the talk by making sure that what people have in mind as the establishment candidate will be raised from their minds through real deeds of the president. If indeed he doesn't, he's not supporting any candidate. We want to see more action in this regard. Otherwise, it's going to be, what is going to happen is that people are going to develop message against Dr. Bawumia, that a vote for him will be a vote for Nana Akufo-Addo. And I'm not sure that is what the president and Dr. Bawumia want to hear or know. So I believe that if the president wants to make it's good that he has taken this step, but he should demonstrate in real action that he doesn't support anybody. That will be able to put the matter to rest.
I mean, Haruna Mohammed, will this make your job any easier? Because before today, the view had been entrenched that somehow the entire party machinery has been coerced to support one particular candidate, and some of the other candidates were not happy with it. You've heard the president today. Is it the expectation of yourself and your other party executives that this should put beyond doubt this controversy about who is being favored and who is not?
I think good evening to my colleague on the other side of the line and your chair's listenership. I would have to still maintain that the national executive body of the party, which is inclusive of His Excellency the President of the Republic of Ghana, by the constitution of the party, have taken a stand. And the stand is that we are going to stand neutral and we are going to organize free and fair elections. The declaration by His Excellency the President that he's not behind any candidate and he has not asked anybody, nobody should use his name and all that, is going further to strengthen the position of the national party. That is going to seek to make sure that we give all the players the level playing ground. And I think that I must commend His Excellency the President for this particular bold decision to make it public or say to so official that he support any candidate. And this is going to support of the New Patriotic Party.
And once I have you, let me ask you, have you now submitted to all the aspirants details of the album, the register you'll be using?
Can I hear you again?
The details of the album, the register you'll be using for 26th. Have you now submitted it to all the aspirants now?
I think all the aspirants have it. All the aspirants have it. After the balloting, we made available the register to all the aspirants. And we brought out the summary. As we stand now, the total number on the register is 959. No, 952. It's 959. And all the aspirants have been updated on this number that they use for the campaigning. So it is very clear, all of them. After the balloting, all of them were given access to the register as promised by the Secretary of the New Patriotic Party.
Mr. Mohammed, thank you very much. Also, thank you very much. Dr. Sassy is a senior lecturer at the University of Ghana. This is your election headquarters. And you know, we've been building up to that date, 26th of August, here on your election headquarters. Today, let's focus on Boakye Jacko, who is hoping that he will be one of the top 5 candidates after the super delegates cut down the number from 10. Well, he is emphasizing that his message is to return power to the grassroots of the MPP and is the best man to lead it to victory 2024. Here's my colleague, Kwiko Asante, on the political desk with the rest of the story.
With barely 3 weeks to go, Boakye Jackon is ramping up his message to delegates as he hopes to be part of the 5 of 10 candidates the super delegates of the NPP will endorse to contest the party's flag bearership in November. The former energy minister believes the current economic challenge could pose a threat to the party's chances in 2024.
I admit, but all difficult times require new leadership and new thinking.
Boakye Jackon has a message to his contenders who believe they can win the 2024 election simply because of their so-called special qualities.
Our winning 2024 is not going to be on the back of somebody's might. It is not going to be one person. It is going to be people like you who are going to go down to the grassroots. No one person is going to win victory for us in 2024.
And you want to stay with us as we build up to the 26th of August. It is decision day for the New Patriotic Party. Still live here on News 90s on Joy 99.7 FM. Shortly, I'll be taking you to Parliament. But let's return to that major developing story all day as we learned a bit more from the Attorney General's advice to the police on the Cecilia Dapaah matter, where the allegation is that some house helps stole some money from her residence, $1 million plus. There's a bit of detail that we've been pouring over from that Auditor General, from that Attorney General document, but also today the case itself, the case of theft, was in court, and we heard from the main accused, who is insisting that she stole no money. That has generated a fair bit of controversy also, and then before the courts we also learned that the AG had actually taken over the case. Rachel Kodunyako was there for us and is in the studio with me. What exactly happened in court today? I bet there was a lot of eyeballs on this.
Yes, so there were a lot of expectations in this particular matter. So when the case was called, the state prosecutors, led by the police, they indicated that the accused persons in this case, they were not able to produce them because the policemen that were supposed to do so had traveled to Tamale on a similar mission, something that is related to the case. And so that was the first point. The second point was that the AG, the Attorney General, had taken, so they received a call from the Attorney General, and the Attorney General had taken over the case. And the third one was that in view of all that has happened, they will be returning to court. And so it is not the police that will be returning to court, but the Attorney General that will be returning to court.
So the Attorney General himself, or
yes,
the Attorney General's office,
the office, exactly, because they did the communication. So, and the lawyer for the accused, one of them, indicated that the rights of their client was being trampled upon.
Why? Because where are they? Are they still in detention?
Exactly. So they are still in detention. One of them is a lactating mother, and so when it's time for her to breastfeed the baby, they have to bring the baby to the police station where they are still in custody, and then they breastfeed the baby, and then they take the baby back and forth. But he said that even with the case of murder and other cases, they are bailable, and so he doesn't understand why the accused persons are still being kept in there.
The last adjourned date, A2 was granted bail in the sum of 1 million Ghana cedis, 2 sureties, to produce their Ghana cards. In fact, normally when bail is granted at the court, the practice directive is that it is the registrar of the court who interprets the bail condition. The only role of the police is to look at the house or the abode of the sureties. But this one, when he went to the police station, the special intelligence unit, they themselves have taken it upon themselves to investigate and interpreting the court order, which to me is wrong and just obstructing justice delivery system, because police are not supposed to interpret the court orders. It is the duty of the registrar of the court. So it was incumbent upon the CID in this matter to bring the accused person to the registrar, for the registrar to pick the docket that the judge entered the bill and interpret and see if their sureties qualified to to stand as what sureties for them, but they took it upon themselves. And you know, our assistant police were saying all sort of funny things. I can't mention them here. You don't sit in your office and you instruct a police prosecutor to tell the court that you want to take. No, some of this, we see it as some of these gimmicks to deny people of the justice that they need. You know, this matter, there are so many strengths here and there, and we know it is one of those tactics employed to keep the people in cells. Please, I tell you, my client has not stolen any money from anywhere. Nobody has that kind of amount in her wardrobe.
When is this case back in court?
So we are back in court on the 8th of August, where we are expecting that the two accused plus the two other accused the police said they had apprehended and charged would be in court. So that is when exactly we will be in court.
Thank you very much. We can bring in the Augustine James Fee, is a lawyer for the first accused and joins us on the line right now. Mr. James Fee, thanks for your time here. Hello, Mr. James Fee, thanks for your time here.
Hello. Hello.
Mr. James Fee, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Thanks for your time here on Newsnight. And I heard you say to my colleague that your clients have not stolen any money. But today we've been reading the Attorney General's advice to the police, and in there they recount that your client has already confessed to stealing $200,000.
All right. Please, at this stage, I wouldn't be able to go into the substance of the case. It is against the ethics of our job to go into the substance of the case. Whatever the Attorney General is putting out there is their version or side of the story. At the appropriate time when my client is called upon to put up her defense, you put up a solid defense to prove our innocence in the matter.
And you've maintained she took zero cash.
He has not done the act that he's been alleged to have committed. He has not. He has not.
Where is your client as we speak? And how long has she been held? From what we understand, she's still being kept by the police. Is that what it is?
Yes. At the moment, my client is at the Osu police station cell. I understand the case is being handled by the headquarters, police headquarters, but they don't have a cell or female cell at the police headquarters, so that's where they've taken my client to. So she's still in custody as I'm speaking to you.
And how long has she been in custody?
Oh, she's been there over 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Good.
Have you tried to get her bail?
The first day she appeared in court, because she's a lactating mother, I pleaded with the court to grant her bail, and the judge, in her own wisdom, granted a bail in the sum of 1 million to surety to provide their ID cards, Ghana cards. But we went to the police several times, up and down, bring this, go and bring this, go and bring that, do this. We couldn't execute the bill till today, so she's still there. And that particular bill has elapsed because the judge granted it for only 2 weeks for the matter to be brought to the substantive judge. She was just a relieving judge. So he didn't want to go into the matter, but granted the bill because the woman is a lactating mother.
Is it because she could not meet the bail conditions?
No, we sent the right people, but the police were giving excuses. Sometimes, personally, I went there, they said they were busy. And I told myself, how can your business override a human liberty? If somebody is incarceration and a baby's life is at stake, I come to your office as a lawyer, then the director tell me I'm busy. Busy doing what? That is the question we have to be asking ourselves, because some of this behavior undermines the delivery of justice system in the country. You can't be busy when somebody's life is at stake or when a human life is an issue.
Mr. Jemfi, thank you very much for your time on Newsnight. And that's a lawyer for the main accused in this Cecilia Dapa theft matter. And I want to take you to Parliament pretty shortly, but George is here with business. Right after George, we'll hear a bit more also about what has been happening in Parliament. George, on the back of the media budget review, some very, very interesting scenes there. In fact, let's do that now because that will give us a sense of how the debate had transpired. I know that's, media budget review we've been talking about. Yes, it was suspected. Kweku Asante is a parliamentary correspondent, joins us right now. Kweku, from what we understand, it was fireworks on the floor today.
Evans, the last day for debate on both sides, the leadership wrapping up the debate. It first started from Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, who heightened the temperature in the House, talking about his so-called expose against Gabia Ferrotizako, why government is not reducing taxes on sanitary pads. But then got to the point where the minority leader, Dr. Kizela Tofosin, spoke. He described the economic management team as economic mismanagement team.
Ghanaian women had agitated strongly that this media review should address a very important one, a matter that borders on human rights. And Mr. Speaker, I recall that you also spoke emphatically, which was well received by the Ghanaian people, that the media review should abolish taxes on sanitary pads. It is an embarrassment that such a gross human rights issue did not receive attention from the finance minister.
My colleague from the other side, Honorable Okudzeto Ablakwa, is presenting a fact that the sanitary pad government has imposed tax on it. And I want you to recall that there is a report from AGI that government should allow the local companies to produce the sanitary pad in this country. And Mr. Speaker, these two companies are Sandra Industry and Fanning Industries. Mr. Speaker, if you compare the price from the foreign sanitary pad, as I speak, it's 15 Ghana cedis per one. The local companies are preparing or producing this particular sanitary pad at the cost of 11 cedis. And I want to ask Honorable Ablakwa, should we actually collapse the local industries in this country?
Did Mr. Ablakwa answer that question, Kweku?
Well, Mr. Ablakwa did not get the opportunity to come again to speak on this specific issue, but he was clearly gesticulated in the seat, not very comfortable with the answer that had been given by the Honorable Tete. But the Speaker actually came in. The Speaker of Parliament said that he does not care whether this argument is being made for local industries or not. He believes that it's unconscionable to impose such high taxes on sanitary pads. We then later heard from Governor Kwame Agboja, who zeroed in on roads together with Dr. Clementa Park. They said that government's argument that he had turned the corner was simply not the fact, and that if you look at the road sector, you look at the education, everything has been mismanaged.
This government owes road contractors about 15 billion Ghana cedis. That is an example of collapsing businesses. That is lack of jobs, because these contractors, Mr. Speaker, 70% of the contractors are not on site. Mr. Speaker, I just read in the document the finance minister saying that some projects are not on site. Mr. Speaker, ask one of the clerks to go to OBHB Lamte today and find out if the contractor is on site. The contractor has backed out. So which project is going on? If you go to Tamatu Akosombo Road, the contractor is not there. Go to Tamamoto Way towards the Central University, the contractor is not there. So which project at all is going on as we are talking about? We are in a terrible state.
What the minister is telling us is that he should be applauded for increasing the feeding grant in terms of the nominal value from 97 pesos to 99 pesos. Mr. Speaker, the same finance minister indicated to us that inflation is at 54.1%. Mr. Speaker, let's be realistic. The students are here. Who in this country today can afford to produce what the Ministry for Gender, Children and Social Protection describes as a hot, nutritious meal per day at 99 Ghana pesos, Mr. Speaker?
They had opportunity, what did they do? Nothing. So I want my colleagues to understand that if we are managing the economy better,
They should allow us to manage the economy and stop all these, things that they are doing, which is not written in any book. The speaker. When they have the opportunity, they can.
Honourable members.
Let me finish mine, then they can continue.
Honourable Ahindra, your time is getting up.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. So therefore, 2 more minutes. I want to also draw the attention to the fact that tourism in Ghana today is thriving. Tourism in Ghana today, on the back of the government of Mr. Akufo-Addo, is becoming #1 in West Africa, if not in Africa.
Yes. Kweku, what about the leadership, especially on the minority side?
Well, Dr. Kiselato Forson, the minority leader, led his side in arguing that the government has mismanaged the economy. In fact, he described Bank of Ghana as a crime scene on the back of the recent report, which talks about the losses that the Bank of Ghana has been making.
This is the worst form of an IMF program since Mansa Musa went on the famous pilgrimage to Mecca. Mr. Speaker, Ghanaians must understand that clearly it is not the IMF which has imposed these horrible conditionalities on austerity on them. In fact, it is rather the government of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and the economic mismanagement team led by Alhaji Bawumia further gives further details that the Bank of Ghana illegally printed over 45 billion Ghana cedis, representing 7.2% of GDP in 2022 alone, and another 35 billion in 2021, first in the history of Ghana. The Speaker, the Bank of Ghana is certainly a crime scene. Certainly a crime. The key members of the economic mismanagement team that superintended and supervised this economic crime are: number 1, Dr. Alhaji Mahmudu Bawumia, aka Mr. Strategist. Excuse me. Mr. Speaker, number 2, we have the almighty Ken Oforiatta. I call him aka One Program, One Bond. Mr. Speaker, we also have Governor Ernest Addison, aka the Printer.
Was Chairman Sabongso himself in the house, and what did he respond? How did he respond to this?
The majority leader himself has not been around the whole of today, so the baton fell on his deputy, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, who stoked controversy when he decided that he was going to start his presentation by first noting that not a single female NDC MP, in its own words, had the courage to stick to the statement.
On our side, the majority, we gave opportunity to 3 women to speak. Honorable Abino Sayasari spoke, Honorable Sheila Patel spoke, Honorable Gipti Chum Ampofu spoke. Of the 20 women from the minority side, none of them had an opportunity to comment on this statement. None of them. We have lawyers, we have development specialists, we have social activists. No woman from the minority side had the courage to speak, to comment on this matter.
Did the NDC side concede?
In fact, Evans, this is not something that they will allow to slide at all. In fact, for 20 minutes, the House was on a standstill. They were insisting that Honorable Afenyo-Markin must withdraw and apologize for insinuating that the NDC MPs were not courageous, the female MPs. They must say all of them were on their feet, heckling, shouting at Alexander Afenyo-Markin. They did so until he had to apologize.
My colleague was given the opportunity to speak. He started by saying that no woman on the minority side had the courage. Mr. Speaker, if you respect women, you will not speak about women like that. There are courageous women here. So, Mr. Speaker, it is wrong, and I encourage you to withdraw that statement.
Please, let me. How can I listen to all of you at the same time?
And it's always controversial when these matters come up, indeed. And Kweku, thank you very much. George, I know you have a lot of people been trying to digest the media budget review. What more do you have on the headlines?
Well, events coming up. The National Petroleum Authority rules out price fixing by the oil marketing companies when it comes to their prices sold at the pumps, and economists cast doubts over Bank of Ghana struggling to meet its financial and regulatory mandate following the over 60 billion Ghana cedis loss and the negative equity that they are in right now. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Alliance Life and Ghana Pay.
Doing gets you learning. Learning starts you wondering. Wondering triggers thinking. Thinking becomes planning. Planning evolves to trying. After trying, you're succeeding, winning, owning. Now, doing that starts with outdoing your limits. Outdo them all with MTN. So, what are we doing today?
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kingdom Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHS, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
No matter your water needs, Syntex has it all. Syntex tank was first to introduce double layer tank, and now you can have as many layers as you want. Syntex tank was first to introduce white inner layer tanks in Ghana, and now introduces the customer specs order, which will let you order any color and size you want. Syntex tanks gives you the biggest warranty of 7 years, which no other tank gives you. So whatever your water consumption, size of project, or demand, choose Syntex tank. Syntex tank, stress-free. Syntex tank, reliable. Syntex tank, maximum guarantee. Call 0244 335 168, Kumasi 0505 555 666, or visit syntexgh.com. Syntex tank, a year strong, a year tough. Do you know Flamingo paint has superior properties than any other paint brand on the market? Listen, when you take 1 bucket of Flamingo paint, it's equal to several buckets of any paint brand on the market. So, Flamingo has superior hiding properties, superior coverage, it means it covers, and superior durability. Flamingo paint, superior hiding. Flamingo paint, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, superior durability. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Whether I'm passing by the food market, visiting the salon, or filling up my tank for a spontaneous adventure with old friends in a new city, when asked, cash or card, it's always card for me. I switched from cash to card for all my payments with MasterCard. Now I get to do what I enjoy with ease.
Switch from cash to card for all your payments with MasterCard. MasterCard, the secure and convenient way to pay.
Media Sambisanda Moa. Etiam Ratiano, Mumu Panet, Vietnam, Podom Pemman Yakono. Eh, Quabna. No Mumu wants me to be just Mali, my Marina there. And the crow, complete Miriam Bodom Pimusan, so you super accident ever. I had a bunny to Braye, who see it in a mobile, some man I want it. Sir, I now could you soon use super accident Chaco, Nanny dear, a mouse, who you could fit that. No, what you ask you, my mother feel you. Kojo, sir. Yeah. Pepsodent Heba and a Pepsodent Chaco. A idea. You're gonna natural.
FDIJ Jadian Katuatu.
You're welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, National Petroleum Authorities insisting that it is not aware of price fixing of petroleum products by the top oil marketing firms in the country. This is coming after the big players in the industry, that is Shell, Total Energies and Gold, all went up by a similar margin for this week to sell a litre of petrol and diesel at 12 Ghana cedis 95 pesos as part of the bi-weekly review of prices at the pumps. But head of economic statistics of the National Petroleum Authority, Abbas Asunti, says they have measures in place to deal with any price cartel in the industry.
The regulator is there to assure that the consumer gets value for money. With deregulated prices doesn't mean that the regulator does not have an oversight over what happens on the market. It is for that reason why the oil marketing companies and even the bulk import, distribution and export companies are required to submit their prices to us to ensure that every price you see out there has been computed in accordance with the prescribed petroleum pricing formula. Even though we do not set a cap that companies are supposed to not price beyond. The market is free. Companies are supposed to set their price based on their own economics and their own cost of doing business. But we, as a regulator, every window we do our own analysis. We also estimate and project prices. We do not publish this for a reason, because once a regulator publishes a price, the market is likely to follow that. There have been several. So what we do is we compute our prices looking at the numbers on the market and the reality on the market, and then check how the marketers also set their prices. Now, consumers should have been worried if, as a regulator, realize that there's a huge disparity between the price, what we project, and what the market does. If you see the numbers from our projections and what the market does, they are very close. Sometimes the market is lower because of the competition. You would want to ask, how would you think someone is overpricing, or maybe the consumer is being shortchanged? Then we'd have to look at the numbers.
Head of Economic Regulations at the National Petroleum Authority, Abbas Asunti. An economist, Dr. Patrick Osimian, is casting doubts over Bank of Ghana struggling to meet its financial obligations and regulatory mandates in the coming months. It's coming after the Bank of Ghana posted almost 61 billion Ghana cedis lost for 2022, pushing it into a negative equity. Dr. Osimian says this should be seen as a one-off challenge.
We really need to understand where the losses have come from. It didn't really come from the normal operation of the Bank of Ghana. It's just that extraordinary things have happened in the economy. And we also have to understand that the Bank of Ghana, it doesn't lend to the banks from its profits. It's a central bank. It doesn't work like other banks. So, the extent of the loss is huge. I think in the scheme of things, it's likely to be a one-off event. And in that case, it really shouldn't affect the ability of the central bank to perform its functions as a banker to the banks. If this continues, then you're going to start eroding the credibility of the central bank. But to the extent that this is likely to be a one-off event following from a quite extraordinary event that we haven't seen in our country, since I've been an adult, to the extent that it's just a one-time event, you really shouldn't see it. Don't forget that the banks have to follow specific rules.
And that is economist Dr. Patrick Esumi. Ghana Free Zones Authority is appealing to businesses within the export space to sign up to its new licensing regime that offers some special incentives. Chief Executive of the Ghana Free Zones Authority, Michael Kwe, disclosed this at the meeting with the Association of Ghana Industries.
Another thing that we also want to inform the Ghanaian public about is, if you are doing 70% of export, then you are welcome to come and get these monetary incentives or the non-monetary incentives. When you come, we'll go into detail depending on the kind of company you have. Because your company may be a manufacturing company, different sets of rules apply. Your company may be a services company, different sets of rules apply. But we are even inviting more service companies to come.
Chief Executive of the Free Zones Board, that is Mike Okwe. Now, some firms in the hospitality space have started reducing prices of imported alcoholic beverage sold at year end. A notice to their customers seen by Joy Business showed that one of these outlets has indicated that this was due to the Ghana cedi stability over the past month. They argue that the action was influenced by the decision of some of these companies that import these products to also reduce their price as a result of the positive impact of the Ghana cedi. Now, some of these firms in that space were forced to increase their prices in the last quarter of last year due to the cedi's challenges in terms of depreciating against the US dollar. MultiChoice Africa, leading pay TV service provider, has introduced a new package known as the GoTV Super Plus. The new product brings unparalleled entertainment to subscribers, offering an extensive array of 70 channels with exciting content. Let's hear from the managing director of MultiChoice Ghana, Alex Ochre.
That most of the GoTV subscribers are saying, can't we get, the Premier League that is on DSTV? Everybody's watching on DSTV. Can't we get the same on GoTV? So we've listened. We are bringing GoTV Super Plus, which will have all the Premier League matches. So all the big teams in the Premier League, name them, Chelsea, Manchester United, Arsenal, and all that. All their matches in the Premier League, you will have it on GoTV Super Plus. It's just 255 cedis. So if you have GoTV already, just upgrade to Super Plus and you have all the matches. Starting from this Sunday, actually, the Community Shield between Manchester City and Arsenal, you'll get everything on GoTV Super Plus.
Managing Director of MultiChoice Ghana, Alex Ochre, and Evans, the Community Shield is coming up, and the league is going to start very soon, right?
Oh, when is it? The Community Shield?
August.
Sunday. This one?
Yeah.
Is it this one?
Yeah. So Man City and
Sunday.
then Arsenal.
Oh goodness me!
So
I'm gonna.
We're looking forward to our first.
I'm going to renew a certain subscription.
Our first. Is this
next 2 weeks? Next 2 weekends. Yeah, next 2 weekends. So
we're looking forward.
I won't hang out with Winksy anymore. I'm going to stay at home.
But Arsenal is looking forward to their first trophy this
Please,
season.
you're done with. Let me do sports now. Hello, Ms. Bao.
Yeah.
Which team do you support, by the way?
I'm a Chelsea fan.
And in
I'm
Ghana?
Chelsea fan. Kumasi Asante Kotoko.
Okay, great. That's not bad. What do you have in the headline?
Well, it's World Athletics Championship. Just 17 days to the championship in Budapest, Hungary, and of course, Ghana will be represented by a host of athletes in both the track and field event. And it's the Minister of Youth and Sports, Mustafa Yusuf, who has been speaking, assuring government's commitment to make all resources available to ensure that the team is able to deliver creditably at the tournament.
I've had conversation with the Ghana Athletic Federation, led by Bawa Fuseni, and they have put in the team together, and I'm very confident that the team will go to Budapest and do us a honor again, just like they did in Oregon in the USA, where they did so well. Especially the quartet team they performed splendid performance, and I have I have confidence that even going to Budapest they will even do better. As a country, we are giving them all the necessary support to ensure that their participation becomes very successful. Resources and logistics that are needed for the national team, the government is committed in making sure that we give them the necessary support so that when they get to Budapest, they will lift the flag of our country high.
Yeah, the Minister for Youth and Sports there, Mustafa Yusuf. And he also touched on the Esipon Stadium, which has been abandoned, but Finance Minister did indicate in one of his budget reading that the facility was 90% complete. The Minister clarified that it was the first phase of that project that was 90% complete. However, contractors are currently on site to ensure that the facility is renovated and put to good use.
The phase has been given to the contractor to finish, and the contractor has still moved to site. And you all understand that we needed to go through some procurement bureaucracy before we get the contractors to move to site. So we've gone through that hurdle, and the contractor is currently on site. So be rest assured that Esipon Sports Stadium will be completed and it will be put to good use.
Yep, so that's the Minister for Youth and Sports there. And of course, that's pretty much it for sports. Arsenal is playing Monaco in the Emirates Cup. Currently 1-1, so the time was coming yet. Not sure if they've been able to score again. But Mohamed Salisu, Ghana Mohamed Salisu has completed a move to AS Monaco in the French League. And of course, it's his team that are playing Arsenal at the moment. So we'll wait to see. And like we mentioned, Manchester City versus Arsenal on Sunday. Big game coming up. We'll wait to see. Brought to you by Pepsodent Herbal and Chaco. Pepsodent, every smile matters. That's it for sports.
Thank you very much, Ms. Bao. Now, Stephen Habiji was sentenced to 8 years in prison for defilement, but was pardoned after serving 4 years and 8 months due to his good behavior. As he goes home, he is full of hope for the future, as he believes he is reformed. Joy News caught up with him as he bids farewell to the Akuse prisons, where he spent the last 4 years of his life.
Today, we witness the journey of 58-year-old ex-convict Stephen Hebidzi. He spent 4 years and 8 months behind the walls of Akuse prisons.
It's not easy. We faced so many challenges. Our food is not enough for us. In terms of the food is not accurate. And if you are sick, to no car to take you to hospital, or you don't get any accurate medicine for you. We are in a small cell, about 60 people, 80, just bring sickness, more sickness in the house now.
On Saturday, July 29, 2023, he gained his freedom.
I miss home a lot. I miss home. Now, yes, like I'm in heaven. That's why I don't have anything in my pocket, but I'm happy. I'm happy. So I'm going home. Today, like this, I have to take some heavy food because the zone totally, it didn't satisfy me anyway. So I have to take fufu and light soup.
As he leaves the prison, he emerges a man of both sorrow and hope, ready to embrace the freedom that awaits him.
I live home for a long time. My wife and children and the family all. I miss them a lot. I know so many things are spoiled in my back. I'm a worker that 8 years, Akosomotesa Limited, before got the problem. And now my job too has got spoiled. So I hope God, only God can help. But now too, I can't learn so many things, farming, okra, garlic egg, onion, on those things. I can do it praying to God. God to touch somebody to help me to continue farming or something like that to get out of my family.
The struggle in prison was immense, and Stephen found solace in the small acts of kindness that brightened the darkness of prison life.
The happy moment is only if we get visitors come and visit us, at least they give us some food and these things. That's why we feel it all right. That is only happiness you get. The reason I have no happiness apart from if you get some good food or something like some people come with word of God, we listen to the word of God, we drum, and that's all. If they go, that's all your mind go back to the old system.
But his journey to redemption was not just about surviving prison life. It was about breaking the cycle of violence and criminality that perpetuated within those walls.
We are mixed with those who get murder case, armed robbery, and robbery case. And you see defilement or something like that, we are not equal. But the mist is some of the guys, instead of the kind of stealing, they can learn different kinds of character. So to me, we plead to the government, they should see to it, so that if somebody comes with a murder case or something like that, then too they should leave different place or different cell, so that they will not manipulate those who came with stealing or assault.
I wish him all the best in his next endeavor as he leaves the prisons. And that's it for News Night tonight. Guess who is joining me right now for a bit of News Night before she does her strong and sassy things? Hello, Animwaa.
Hi, Evans. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you too?
I'm good. What's poppin'?
Oh, you are. You have a guest that I'm looking forward to listening to.
Oh,
the
you
wellness
like
coach.
Ariel?
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like Ariel?
Amazing lady with a lot of insight. And today we're steering away from fun, exciting, us girls conversations, and we're having a conversation on self-esteem and confidence. Yeah.
That's important, actually. Why is that? Why that topic, by the way?
Just because there are a lot of women who struggle with keeping their confidence when there are so many things that erode it every day. I mean, right now women are judged by so many different standards. You know, how do you look? How big is your behind? Do you have the curves? Do you have the this? Do you have, you know? And so if you're not built that way, for example, you know, if you don't talk a certain way, how do you remain authentic and confident in who you are? As opposed to changing with the times, because then you'll make a lot of changes. Because, for example, the definition of beauty is always changing. There was a time when slim, square-looking women were the ish. There was a time when women who weighed like 200 or 300 pounds were the women that were considered beautiful. And then now we're in the Kim Kardashian era. Like, are you just going to go with the flow? How do you kind of stay stable?
Well, very interesting topic and prospect.
Yeah, so that's what we're talking about.
So join Animwaa and Ariel here on the Strong and Sassy.
Yes, please. Thank you so much, Evans. Off you go.